Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a daily tarot oracle reading, Tattle Tales from the Vector. This is a general or collective reading, so just make sure that you realize parts of it may or may not resonate with you. Take what works for you, leave the rest. This is also a timely reading, meaning if you're watching it at this time, it's the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it's been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then? That will give you clarity as to your situation now. All right, we're going to begin with the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck. And we have the soulmates. They've been coming up a lot in these readings lately, which is awesome. So this is talking about a soul contract where two soulmates have decided to meet at some point in this lifetime. And this is, quite often it's a romantic partner, but it can also just be someone in your, that you love, that loves you. And also this can be like a family member or a friend or, even a child or someone like that. This energy is talking about being really balanced in the masculine and feminine within themselves so that when they get together, it's really strong and they empower each other to go on their destined journey and enjoy it together. And then this is talking about the Four of Swords. So the Four of Swords represents someone who has gone into a church or a sanctuary wanting to go inward and meditate or pray to get some guidance. The three swords on the wall here represent the subconscious, unconscious, and conscious mind. Your subconscious mind is formed by the time you're about 6 or 7 years of age. So from the baby, on, we really don't have much memory of that. But babies are like sponges and they really absorb the energy of their environment. And so this energy is heavily imprinted on us. And we don't remember much of it, so we have to rely on what the people that were in charge of our care tell us what we were like, or videos now and photos more these days. But basically the subconscious is made up of the environment and the thoughts of the people that were in charge of your care. So it's not the most reliable, but it's the one when we get triggered that we are most likely to go to. And then the unconscious mind is the desires of your soul. And so the unconscious mind, from the unconscious mind's point of view, a lot of people will say, I am a human being with a soul. But from the soul's point of view, you are a soul with that is traveling in a human body, and this is your vehicle for navigating planet Earth. And then we also have, if the needs of your soul are not met, it'll start becoming louder and louder. And then we have the conscious mind, which is what you remember. It's in your memory. You've been there, you've done that, you've got a good handle on it. So this just represents putting the mind to rest. And the best way to put the mind to rest and get the mind congruent, so there's no inner battle within yourself to making decisions, is to put the mind to rest and go inward and use your intuition as well as your logic to come to creative solutions to any problem. And then this energy is talking about, on the stained glass window here is the word Pax, P-A-X, which represents peace. So this person just wants some peace of mind. Quiet down, mind, and let me feel. And then we have right here, it's confirming this energy. We have the Five of Swords, and the Five of Swords can represent the energy of almost like a cutthroat energy, basically. This person, if they're in a fight with other people, they plan to win. And so this is like, if you want to fight me, come on, kind of energy. And he's already beaten two down, and sometimes this energy can be really destructive to a person, because sometimes people fight about shift that they don't really, it's not necessary. But in this case, I feel this is the inner battle of quieting these three minds as well. So this could just be three versions of yourself and of these three minds. And that's why you want peace from it. You don't want to be arguing with yourself. You don't want to have a board meeting every time you make a decision, right? So Yeah, and then this is the Two of Swords representing having a closed mind. And this energy can be really challenging, because the swords, they're double-edged swords. And what that means is that they're saying you have to use your logic and your intuition to have creative solutions to any problem. This person is sitting here and she thinks there's only two ways, this way or that way, my way or the highway. That's the kind of energy. So having a closed mind, and you can see she's got her arms crossed over her heart. And this is representing in body language, protecting the heart and having not wanting to be vulnerable. And you can see her right arm is holding her left arm back. And that's the logical mind is the right arm, and the left arm would be the intuition. So it's kind of, they need to work together so that there's not just a third way, there's many ways really, if you allow all the information to come in. And this is exhausting her. Her feet are turned out here, so it shows it's a tiring battle. And closed mind is never beneficial. The last new moon we had on the 18th of March was in the sign of Pisces, and that was a highly intuitive time. And that would have been very beneficial to not be in a closed mind. As a matter of fact, the one thing that you could have really done for the energy to quiet the mind and to get solutions would be to have an open mind. An open mind is like a parachute. It can save your life sometimes. We have the Hermit. So the Hermit is someone who's just been through the dark night of the soul, and he doesn't want to make another move until he confers with God. What do I need to do? So he climbs the mountain to be with the Most High, and he stays there until his lantern is full of the light of the North Star. And then when it is, and it's shining on his rod here, then he knows, okay, now I know what to do, and he comes down from the mountain. And so this is talking about taking action after God, after praying and going inward. And so that's what this reading is about. So something has happened here, but it seems like because the overriding energy is the soulmate, maybe this person is praying for their soulmate to come in. Perhaps they have been dreaming about them but don't believe it or something. Well, look at this. Now it's showing how this person is going off in a boat from these rough waters into these calm waters. And the conveyor represents taking you to higher vibration, to God. And so to get out of the rough waters, you have to dig deep. So you have to really, he has to really dig deep with this pole to push this boat off. And that's just representing, the rough waters in tarot represent volatile emotions, chaotic feelings, all of that kind of energy. And the two people in the boat, this adult and child with no baggage, can represent having gone inward to heal the subconscious mind and the conflicting thoughts you have from your upbringing, that are imprinted on you from your subconscious mind. All right, so this is pretty clear here. This is someone who's really got a busy mind and they are tired of it. And then we have this energy of the Page of Wands. So the Page of Wands is representing a youthful presence. And so the pages would work for the king and the queen, and they would start right around the age of 7 to 14. They would come from the surrounding families that had, a lot of, higher upper class that were educated in that. And they would train to work in the palace. And, their main task would be running communication back and forth. So this card does represent communication coming in. Having said that, the communication these days is way quicker than and it's not always in person. It could be in person, but this is saying some sort of communication is coming in, and it could be, a phone call, it could be a text message, a letter in the mail, it could be, what else? It could be email, it could be going online and on social media, and there is a message for you there, or you're invited to an event and you attend, and then you meet someone there that's the perfect person with the information that you need. So each of the pages has a an element, and this page's element is the element of fire, represented by wood. The reason wood, because it feeds fire. And so this wand is also from a tree, and the tree represents the deep roots of our ancestors, and the offshoots here represent the descendants. So this is about taking action with passion. And he's got a feather in his cap, and he's got this youthful exuberance. The pyramids represent his love of knowledge and wanting to learn all about the planet, and a really good attitude, a very enthusiastic person. The one thing is, you have to take his information sometimes with a grain of salt, because as you can see, he really, really, really admires his wand. So he, sometimes quite often actually, he's thinking with his little head instead of his big head. And then we have here's the Knight of Pentacles coming in. So this is, when the pages grew up, like if they were still at the palace and they were 21 and they could afford a horse, they might be considered to be a knight and be put up for knighthood. And so this would be the same energy. It's a communication coming in of some sort, and some information or knowledge. And the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight in the entire deck. Like, he is his information, it feels like, is he ever going to get here? Because he's very methodical. And look at his horse is even at a standstill. So sometimes he gets lost along the way, or something happens, he's unsure of which direction to go in, whatever. But when he does show up, the pentacles in the tarot represent your health, wealth, and happiness. They represent, a big part of that in the third dimensional world is we need money to have a good lifestyle. And this represents lifestyle. Having said that, you could have all the money in the world and still not be living the lifestyle that you want to be living. So the energy is usually when the Knight of Pentacles comes in, the energy is a solid offer, and it's about a lot of pentacles. There's only one here, but this is a big pentacle. And so quite often it'll be like something that has substance. And he has done his research, so the information he delivers is worthwhile information most of the time. And then we have here someone walking away from 8 cups of energy. So the cups in tarot represent the love, as I said, and this, in this case, quite often, what this can represent is a lot of effort being put into something, because there's 10 cups only of love available in the tarot cards, and there's 8 here. So this person has put, it looks like it could even be like 8 years being with someone. This is like 5 of them lined up really nice and neat, and then look at, we have these 2, a space, and then another one. And so sometimes this can represent a third-party involvement in a relationship, and the gap here is representing, okay, like, I'm done. This person is like walking away, I'm done. Sometimes it can represent someone that's just leaving them and then going to get 2 cups and doesn't want to have to carry all this and come back. But more, 9 times out of 10, or 8 times out of 10, it's going to be walking away and just saying, I'm done, I'm not putting any more energy or effort into this relationship. And quite often it is a love relationship, although it can represent something you love to be or do. So it could represent a business or a career that you're in, and you just you're not enjoying it anymore. Maybe you're walking away from a partner that isn't working out in business or something like that. And we have the full moon and the new moon here, and this is representing eclipse energy. We had 2 eclipses, one at the end of February and one at the beginning of March. They were pretty intense. The energy, there was a lot of astrological effects at that time. It's much calmer with the astrological effects now. But if you want to know the effects of the eclipse, on my channel, there's a new moon, full moon playlist, and on that you can find the eclipse on February 17th and also the one on March 3rd. It's interesting because eclipse season, like those two, that energy, it stays with us for about 6 months. And it might bring some relevance to your situation. The thing is about the eclipses is that, you know, they do have this like slow percolating energy where you'll look back like 6 months later and you'll say, wow, I sure made a lot of changes, you know, and it's, or this and this and this happened in the last 6 months. And that's when you notice, wow, like things have really changed. And so it's that kind of energy. And then we have the Six of Wands. So the Six of Wands is representing that action again. And this is saying that you've been in some sort of battle here, but not in a fight to kill. You reined in your emotions, and you were like you were victorious. This is a card. This card is saying you were victorious in this battle, and so this could represent like something in your professional life, winning a contract, or you know, in an actual sports event or something. You know, it can represent winning over your lover, over other lovers. It could represent a lot of things. But it's saying that the people that were in competition with you or that were watching you compete, they recognize, wow, you did really good, and look how proud she is, you know. And the horse is under total control here. This energy is like she's reining in her emotions, and the horse is listening to her because of that. And then we have a card of reconciliation. So the Six of Cups represents reconciliation. Reconciliation would imply that maybe you need forgiveness of some sort or an apology. Reconciliation, like, you know, if you decide to forgive someone, it doesn't mean that you have to have anything to do with them. You don't have to reconcile. But if you're going to reconcile, sometimes it does imply that somebody needs to apologize and someone needs to forgive, that kind of energy. So this also can just be a card where it represents reunion. And we had Mercury in retrograde from the February 26th until March the 20th. And now, as I'm doing this reading, this will come out on the 27th. So Mercury's been direct now for almost a week, and the energy is much stronger now for communication. But a lot of times, you know, if just in the recent past here, you had people coming in from your life that you hadn't seen for a long time, that maybe you hadn't spoken to for whatever reason, and all of a sudden they're showing up in your life again. This is common energy from when there is retrograde energy. It's so that we can clean up have closure to it. And closure doesn't mean you have to see them again at all. It just means that you deal with it within yourself. But if this is a reconciliation and you want to, and it would be, you know, this is sometimes about, you know, forgiving a lover that you walked away from or something like that. This card talks about illusions. And you know, when you first look at it, you think, oh, there's two kids playing in the yard here. But when you look again, this one's a gnome and this one's a little woman. And like, she looks like she's young from the front, but she looks like an old hag from the back. And she's wearing a white mitt here that says, I don't want to get my hands dirty. I want to stay innocent. The old hag, he's trying to offer these flowers that don't belong to him to this young woman. And the old hag is like walking away, like, what the heck? We don't want your flowers. They're not even your flowers. They're not yours to give away. But the young woman doesn't want them either, but she's being nice because she hasn't learned how to quit people-pleasing yet. So she's trying to tell him in a nice way, I don't want your flowers. And then the flowers themselves look like, you know, they're beautiful flowers. They're from the nightshade family. They're actually called Devil's Trumpet. And they are, they bloom continuously, and they're really, really big white flowers. They're really nice. But they're highly, highly toxic if you ingest them. You would never let children play with these flowers. This is Datra. Datra is not something you let children or pets around because they'll get sick. And so shamans sometimes use Datra to produce visions in ceremonies. So there's another kind of illusion there. But they know what they're doing, and it's for adults. And also the person that is watching over them is actually walking away down the path. So when you first glance at this card, your first impression is incorrect generally. And so it has to do with this energy here. It could be saying that your perception of your childhood is incorrect. There is maybe some information that you don't know, and that maybe you've discovered what that is when you went off to Commerce Shores with God. And then we have the Four of Pentacles, which is representing having a strong foundation for making money. This shows the three levels of making money. You have a strong foundation here, which is safe money, so you can pay your bills with this and all of that, but you don't have a lot for your heart's desires and your crowning glory. Your crowning glory is when you're following your destiny, your destined path, and when your soulmate comes in, quite often the pentacles start coming in better. You enjoy a better lifestyle. It's just better because you're supporting each other to stay on your destined path. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles, and the Queen of Pentacles is representing the energy of, she's totally focused on that pentacle in her lap. She is known to be very resourceful. She can make something out of nothing, and she prefers quality over quantity. So this is generational wealth, a legacy. This is old money. So old money isn't flashy money. A lot of it's very conservative. It's representing that kind of a stable person that is used to being raised with money, basically. And then we have the Page of Swords. So the Page of Swords, unlike the Page of Wands, he's not focused on his element at all. He already knows what the question is, and he already understands that this is a double-edged sword. So logically, he knows what the question is, and now he's looking away from it because he's thinking outside the box, and he wants to get a more creative solution from his intuition. So he asks the question, and then he gets an intuitive answer, and then he can apply that logically. And this can sometimes represent also having discipline of your mind, like not getting all worked up and getting all anxious. It reminds me of someone golfing, and golfing is a very mental sport. So if you are golfing and you have a real bad first hole, like you could throw your club and get upset and then have an even worse one the next hole. Or you could discipline your mind and get calm and get a hole-in-one. And so that's this energy, is being able to really discipline your mind so that you get the results that you want. This can represent a breath of fresh air because of the innovative thinking and the ability to tune into creative solutions. We have the Ten of Wands here. The Ten of Wands is representing someone who's carrying a lot of weight here. This energy represents, like, this is 10 different wands that have grown from the seeds of your actions, basically, and the actions possibly of other people. And so this is talking about, it's like bringing your harvest in, but some of it may be burdensome. This could be really heavy because there's a lot of fruit on these wands, and there's a harvest here. And then some of these wands could be the burdens of others that you're carrying. And whenever we carry other people's burdens, it becomes very, very heavy. And so the best thing he could do, if whatever burdens don't belong to him, just put them down and phone up your friend or whoever it is. Say, come pick up your burden. I left it out in the field. And if he doesn't pick it up, that's his problem. It's that kind of energy. This person is very close to home, but he's getting tired and he can't see where he's going, or that he's that close because, there's a saying, you can't see the forest due to the trees. And that means, like, you're so focused on the detail that you can't see the big picture. And so the very best thing you can do is put any burdens down that don't belong to you, and whatever you do, don't give up. This could also represent the energy of, like, perhaps this person purchased a home, for instance, and he loves it. Like, it was a great home and it was everything he wanted, but now his circumstances have changed and he wants to move. And he has to fix up the house, and he has to, do whatever to sell it. And now it's become a burden. But it's really an asset, but it's like a burden on his time and energy if he's already busy doing other shift. That's why it's important for him to put down any burdens that don't belong to him, so that he can look after his needs first. And then we have this energy of the Magician. So the magician is saying that you have everything you need when you're on the Fool's journey. He's the card right after the 0 point when the Fool starts out on a new cycle. And so this energy is talking about bringing from the heavens your thoughts, basically turning your thoughts into physical matter and making the world a more beautiful place, creating a beautiful garden. And you have all the tools you need. They're on the bench here, but you have to figure out which tool to use when. And it's the infinity symbol is saying that you do have infinite potential to the power of infinity and beyond. Having said that, you have to apply yourself and you have to learn how to use the tools and get better at using them and knowing which tool when to use when. And then you'll manifest what you have on earth. Now he's pointing as above, so below. And he's pointing to have this strong foundation. He's saying you have a strong foundation because you went to God and you got advice and by going inward. And that was really good, like getting out of this energy here. You see how after this, and so he's pointing, this is why now you're in a much better position to get your needs met, and there's something coming in for you. He's pointing to the heaven, and good job for doing what you did here. Then we have another knight coming in, and this knight is coming in, and sometimes this is like a Fool rushing in kind of energy. We can see this knight, he's either running to something or he's running from something. And so the information he's bringing in also, we can only see half his sword. So this is talking about having only half maybe the information. We can't see the point, so maybe he can't either. He's got a red flag on the back of his helmet here. And even the clouds here look like they are ripped in the sky. It's like this kind of energy, having a hot temper and then maybe regretting it later. He's really pushing his horse, and they're running through barren land against the wind. So this is talking about an energy of, fools rushing in, or only having half the information, or really being freaked out by the information, running from it. I've got to get there before the other person gets there with the truth kind of information. And on the February 17th, we did move into the fiery horse energy for the New Year, the Chinese New Year. And the Chinese New Year, this is exactly the energy you do not want to be in with the fiery horse energy. And that's going to be with us until February of 27. So you don't want to be, like the fiery horse energy is very passionate and heartfelt in love. It's very, it makes people really want to achieve high goals, really free-spirited, and really like in this kind of energy here, just really enthusiastic about life. The danger is this kind of energy being very impulsive or reacting to situations instead of responding, and not even having the full information and acting anyway. It's the worst energy you can be in for the year of the fiery horse energy. Impulsive energy is really, like if a horse gets spooked and runs, it can run down a long way. It can run miles in the wrong direction, and you're hanging on for dear life when it's in that, when a horse is doing that. And it can be very dangerous. So this is saying, keep your temper in check. And the other thing is, don't put so much on your plate and be unreasonable about it, like about the time frame that you have to complete it in. It's good to have high goals, but if they're too high and you don't give yourself enough time, then you could burn yourself out before you get to the finish line. And we do have a cup of love coming in, and I feel like this is when there's something, okay. Now, like, look at, do we have all the knights here? No, we're still missing the one knight. But this is what he's running from. And look at the difference in their energy. He's saying, he's coming this way and he's going, oh my gosh, I don't know who it is. It could be the Queen of Pentacles has someone coming in to offer her a cup of love. Oh my gosh, like we got to stop this. Like we can't have that happen for whatever reason. We don't know, but it could be she walked away, and maybe this is the energy is saying, I thought I was going to be able to get her back, and now I'm not going to be able to, and we have to stop this kind of energy. That's the energy I'm picking up. And it's kind of foolish because it's really, the Knight of Cups is pretty determined looking. The Knight of Cups is the knight in shining armor that we read about in romance novels and also in movies. The one that comes in and he's dressed to the nines and he's classy and charming. And he has a solid offer, a cup of love that you can count on. And I mean, if someone was going to offer you a cup of love, which one would you rather receive it from, And that's the sun is shining. And I feel that's representing the soulmate energy coming in, saying, you've had enough of this energy. You should have more money than this. And, this relationship you were in, I feel like this might be this person trying to come back and get you to take them back kind of energy, because we have this reconciliation here. And thank goodness the Mercury retrograde is over, so you're less likely to do that. If someone's leaving you in this energy that we started off with, and you need to go isolate and get your ship back together again, and you get your burdens put down and everything's starting to look better, why would you go back to that kind of energy? It's kind of like, it's very, it's not very comfortable. And so the sun is the happiest card in the deck. So when this is talking about the shift here is basically when you went to God and you asked for help, basically. And it gave you a strong enough foundation to be able to get through this energy. This is a pyramid I'm building, and so this is what's going on to begin with here, and the tools, and then this is the obstacles, and this is the courage to move forward. And you did what you needed to do, and now your energy has been upgraded, and this is the happiest card in the deck, and it throws sunshine on all the other cards in the reading. And look we have another horse here that's very calm. This young child is riding, no reins, no fear, no saddle, carrying this heavy banner. All the sunflowers are moving with the sun. This is representing a lot of happiness. And this is how you're supposed to be. And this is like the energy with it almost looks like that turned into this angel here. And so here we have the King of Swords. So the King of Swords energy could be the energy of the soulmate coming in. We don't have any other kings, and we do have the one queen here. So it could be that. The King of Swords represents someone whose profession uses words to earn their profession, or that's their career choice. And so this could represent someone that might be a politician, using their words. It could be an online influencer. It's a best-selling author. Let's see what else. It could be definitely people in the legal system, in a court of law. It can be the written word as well as the verbal. This could represent scientists, researchers, innovators, that kind of energy. And so this is talking about the King of Wands, or King of Swords, is very much aware that words are very powerful, and is very good at using words. And so he understands that words can be used as weapons, and they can also be used to uplift people. And he also understands that words, like when you give your word, if you don't have action, talk is cheap, action speaks louder than words, then your word then becomes valueless. And so sometimes, and this represents the energy of a divorce lawyer in situations where someone's walked away. So it could represent the only other figure we have here that would be, that we've got one king and one queen, so we're going to go with that. And this could be the Queen of Pentacles is getting a divorce now that she's walked away from this relationship. Judgment's been called. Dun, 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 dun. And the ancestors are coming out of their boxes. They're like, yes, we've been waiting for this to happen. Apparently they didn't like her choice in husband or something. Or it could be for other reasons we don't know for sure yet. So they're literally cheering that judgment is here from the spiritual, because it's going to come down to the physical. Perhaps something happened with your ancestors, and maybe this legacy of wealth was their money, and it got absconded, or is abscond. Abscond means taken away. Someone ran off with it, basically. And so that's the energy that I'm picking up, something like that. And maybe you're supposed to receive this, and now judgment is coming in, and you will, because the descendants are cheering on the other side here. This can also represent skeletons coming out of the closet and Pandora's box being opened. Spiritual court is in session, and it's now coming down to the physical earth. Whoa, and then we have the devil here. So the devil, you know, this card has been showing up a lot. And right now in the world that we live in, if you're brave enough to turn on the news for a few minutes to see what's going on, you'll see like it's just kind of wild out there. There's so much craziness going on out there. And so the devil energy represents temptation. And the devil, there's two lovers here, and these two lovers are yoked to each other and then chained to Saturn's box. And he's haunched over them, which is saying that they are he's come in between them, basically. And so this is not love as much as it's lust. This is showing animal instinct, basically. And, you know, like this is like a soulmate, and then that's someone that's not a soulmate. So just to make it more clear right there. So when the devil card comes in, I always cover it with the next card, because it's a very manipulative energy. You're not going to get the truth from the devil. And they always he has to send a minion in to do his dirty work. For one thing, like the devil, one thing that the devil likes to do is put words backwards. And so when you put the word devil backwards, it's lived. And so he used to, that he did lived at one time. And so like this is a card, this is an archetype. So we can't, you know, he has to send a minion in to do his dirty work. So we're going to cover him and see it's okay. So the King of Pentacles is on top of this. So this is talking about, it was about the money. And so that's what it's about. Bottom line, it's about this money coming in. And now this would be, yikes, this would be someone that would be highly respected in the business community for being really, you know, at the top of their field and really good with money. Quite often this represents bankers and financiers and that kind of, you know, investors, that kind of energy. It's someone that is highly respected because of their business acumen. This can represent someone that is, you know, or the head financial advisor of a major corporation, or it could represent financial advisors and that kind of energy, you know, accountants. And if so, it would be in a big firm and they would be a partner. It's someone that's, you know, really at the top of their field. Banking industry, if, you know, they'd be high up. What else? This can represent the energy of entrepreneurs who are doing really well. And so the king represents that energy of advising people sometimes about finances. A lot of times this can involve real estate and land, because the element of the pentacle is earth, and earth, you know, land, real estate deals, mortgage brokers, land developers. He has grapes all over his robe here, because grapes are considered a luxury and they're very, very challenging to grow. In tarot, they represent someone that really understands how to manifest something difficult to manifest and bring it down to earth. And so that's what the grapes represent. And generally, this would be someone that you could really count on and rely on, but he's sitting on the devil energy. So it has something to do with the Queen of Pentacles. I feel only having this much money when she should have this much money. And so something's wrong here. We'll see. We'll keep going here. And then we have we have also the Nine of Cups coming in. So the Nine of Cups is representing, you know, it's cups of love, but this would be love of, like, you know, love of your partner, love of your children, love of your first family, love of your where you live, and your career, and the people you work with, and your clients. It's just like having a really, this is about having fulfillment. And this sometimes is like a wish that you've had for a long time. And this wish energy, you have to recognize that when you wish for something, it means you don't have it as of yet. And this is saying you're highly favored. This is someone also who would be in a public figure, and someone that maybe is, you know, like it's almost like he's on a stage, so people can see, you know, that he's highly favored and that he's going to get everything he wishes for if he can maintain his focus. It's hard to say, are those cups behind him, past, or are they above him, present, or are they forward a bit and he's sitting under them, future? His body language is a little uncomfortable here. You can see here that he's also leaking energy, just like in this energy. But his upper body, he's not covering, he's not protecting his heart, but he has his arms in the shape almost of an infinity symbol, so he's lowered them. So it's almost more like a genie energy, like he wants this wish to come true. He knows he needs to stay focused and stay in the game. And in the case of this energy, if this is the same energy, it's saying he also loves money a lot. Like a lot, more than anything else, basically. And then this is the star energy coming in. And now, and look at this. We have the magician is pointing, yeah, you needed to go talk to God because you only have this much money and you should have this much money, what you're wishing for. And he's pointing to this character. Now, is this character, is this King of Pentacles that has gone sideways a little bit here? He's not doing what he should be doing, and it's affecting the star energy. So that represents the energy from the beginning of the reading here, the soulmates coming together because they follow the nice North Star. So maybe this is one of the soulmates, because this energy is like, maybe it's a lawyer type energy, and it's found something hasn't been done correctly here. And this legacy of wealth, you should have more than this. Where's your money? That's what the King of Swords wants to know. And because you're a star, and it's time for you to get on your path. And so, of course, God's going to send someone in, because you need the crowning glory amount of money, not the strong foundation. And this card is like, you have your back turned to the city here. And this is talking about sometimes you have to leave where you're grown up. It's hard to be a hero in your own town. And it also can represent, don't sell yourself short and don't play small right now, because this is something that was destined for you, is to have this legacy of wealth. And yet, so there's energy here when you meet the soulmate that I feel that he's looking into this. And that means that you will have everything you need to be on your destined path. You see, she's putting her own special qualities into the universal pool, and then mixing it up and pouring it onto earth. And there's 5 streams here. And this represents the 5 streams, or the 5 points on the pentacle coin here. And having everything you need for crowning glory, which is when you're following your destined path. So this is God's plan. And what might seem like, well, how did it go awry? Well, it didn't really. Maybe God wanted you to learn some lessons about discernment when it comes to who you invest with and what you invest in, so that when you do get it, now you won't waste it and not be able to go on your destined path with your soulmate. Could be that kind of yeah, because the truth comes in, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. And so this is the truth, and the truth is going to come in on this judgment card, and you will receive the money that you are supposed to receive, so that you can continue to go through on God's plan, and which then all these opportunities come in And the Seven of Cups represents, like, each of these cups has a different gift in it. And you are like a black hole, sucking all this opportunity in. But like a black hole, you're the center of your universe, so you have to put your own spin on it. So you have to choose which cups you want to have first, and how many can you handle at one time, and how are you going to handle them, and what are you going to do with the energy. And quite often these will be challenges with possibilities. It's not like this is just going to fall in your lap. It's saying you're going to have to stay focused and go after what you want. And the opportunity is there. And then there's a Tower comes in. So the Tower energy is when there's a reality check, because now this is the position you're in, and this is the position this person is in. Judgment's being called. There's professional help looking into this, investigating it. That energy here, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, is coming in. And we're going to find out what happened to this money and why you are so burdened when you should not be that way. You should be in this energy and on your destined path. So sometimes when the reality check comes in, it's it's never easy for anyone. It's always at an inopportune time, and it can be really uncomfortable. But for you, it's going to push you into this energy of being able to move forward with your soulmate. And for them, it's going to be very uncomfortable. And that's what this information coming in is. Oh my God, like if this person gets with this person and they figure out what's happened, we're going to be in trouble. We need to figure out what we're going to do here. Someone was juggling pentacles. And this can represent multitasking, but sometimes it can represent juggling morals and juggling money. And I feel like, yes, this is juggling the money that was supposed to be used for your infinite potential to make your wishes come true kind of energy. So this is coming back to you. It's coming back to you 100-fold. And get out of the way, because karma's going to be flying. So put those burdens down. If any, it could be your best friend or whatever, but if they've participated in this energy, you want to get out of the way, or you're going to get hit with the karma too. And then this is, because you are being rewarded for staying on your path, and your soulmate is with you now, and this is all the pentacles. Everything you need to stay on your path of glory is going to happen. And this is a reward from the universe. So wow, this is quite wild here. It's pretty clear too. Going from the bottom to the top and back down, we have the energy of going inward to get a breath of fresh air, basically, and okay, what do I need to do? And you need to put your burdens down, and you recognize that to get what you wish for, and to get on your destined path, and to get the money that you were supposed to get, and get to the top here. A tower is going to hit. It's not going to be easy for you either, but when it hits, it's going to bring this energy of the truth in. We have all these opportunities are going to come in with your soulmate. And you're going to be very happy, and you're going to be on your destined path. And it's because you had the courage to walk away from a situation, and it was hard for you to walk away. I feel like this could have involved people that you really cared about, and it took forever for the information to come in, and you were like just sort of like hanging on by a thread here by this point. Like, when is this, like, I don't know what, I'm beside myself almost at this point. I need for something has to happen here to empower me. And if there is justice coming in on some level here, the cards that show like that kind of energy are, just that there's a shortfall of money here. There's some anxious energy. The devil has shown up on all this money here. Judgment is being called. The King of Swords represents like legalities quite often, and the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth is what you say when you're in a court of law. So juggling of morals, the reality check hitting, the truth coming out, and then whatever it is being returned back to you 100-fold. And so there we go. We should just leave it at this, but I'm going to clarify it for those of you that want clarification. So if you are leaving the reading here, thank you so much for your time and energy, and consider giving it a like and comment. It really does empower me to build my channel. If you would want to have a little more clarification, we'll do that with my oracle, Tales from the Vector. This is TAILS, and I do have a website, talesfromthevector.com. On that website, I'm working on bringing this oracle out. I started it in 2007, and in 2020 I completed all the paintings, and now I'm working on the information. I do have a lot of written information, but I want to play with the cards. You may have noticed that sometimes what's really good on paper doesn't always work when you're actually it's in action. So that's why I'm playing with them a bit, to write up to get more information to write in the booklet that goes with it. I will the numbers on these cards represent the paintings in the order they are in my gallery on my website, and that's talesfromthevector.com. I will put it in the description box, the numbers in the order that they appear here, so that you know which ones to look up if you're interested in looking at that. So the Wheel of Fortune is turning, and you're going to meet your soulmate. Basically, that's what that's saying. The past, the present, and the future are coming together, basically, for that to happen. This is talking about being a mature adult now. Maybe this relationship that you were in was immature. Maybe you were too young to make a commitment if you were in a marriage, and that's why it didn't work out. It just feels like a little bit that way. By the time the Libra energy comes in, it means that we're a mature adult, and this is represented by love. So this is being able to anticipate your journey instead of having expectations that are unreasonable when you're immature and you don't understand what a commitment it is. For instance, to have a baby and start a family. It's a big commitment. Even just getting a pet is a big commitment when they're being difficult. She wants me to feed her. You are supposed to be purring. You're not supposed to be making all this noise. You will be fed in like a short time. You were fed a couple hours ago. You'll live through it. Be a good girl. Her job is to purr, and usually she does do a good job. And she does have happy feet. It's just that she's hungry. So the Libra, okay, sit down, Stella, enough. So this is, I just want to point out, when my horoscope cards come up and I'm in a reading like this, I'm not talking about individuals. That's not my goal. My goal is to bring in, like, we all have a little bit of every sign in us. Maybe not everyone, but most of them. So we can learn from the energy. And we can all be mature adults. And then we have this energy of the superstar. Yeah, in case you didn't know it, this is confirmation again. You deserve to have harmony in your life, and you are a superstar. And the sun is making sure of it. So when you went up to the top of the mountain, maybe you didn't really go to the top of a mountain, but when you isolated for a while and asked for healing, and I feel like it did have to do with your childhood, maybe some misperceptions of how commitments work and that kind of energy. Sometimes also we can have a lot of energy, like from being told, you know, you have to work hard for money, and money doesn't grow on trees, and you know, you have to save, and you have to be careful, and those things are all true. And you also have to be a little bit optimistic and take calculated risks now and then to be able to, get to the next level of money, right? And so Cancer, this is talking about, Cancer is the fourth sign. And so this is like young adolescent girl energy about to start their cycle for the first time. Volatile emotionally. Like this is the most emotional, like immaturely emotional, like easily volatile energy, like really thinking of teenage girls that they just don't have the practice yet to deal with the hormones, all the changes happening in their bodies. And girls this age tend to be quite mean to each other because of it, like because there's a lot of competition, right? And who's the prettiest, and and they're always comparing because they're unsure of themselves. And so this is about being engaged in the information instead of being entrenched in it, like not drowning in it, and not drowning in the emotion. And it's saying take advantage of the cycles of the moon, because that's when you're at your most intuitive. And also being aware, like we have a full moon coming up here just in a few days. And we'll start to feel that energy 3 days before and 3 days after. It's infamous, the full moon energy. Ask anyone who's worked in a bar, in the hospitality industry, police officers, doctors at the emergency ward. There's a lot of emotions run high during the full moon energy. And the full moon we have coming up here on April 1st, of course, it's landing on April Fool's Day, because we don't have enough AI slop out there to confuse us as to what's really going on. It's just a little added bonus for us all. And then we have the falling star energy. So this is about opening your heart up, like here, not letting fear stop you from being able to speak your truth and say what it is you want, and stepping into this star energy. Really good. It's confirmation here. And you're having your soulmate come in. And so this energy can sometimes talk about maybe people were jealous of your destiny or something. Sometimes people are funny that way. Could be people that were close to you. And maybe even your partner was that way with you for some reason. But you can come out of that and you can say, I'd rather be better than bitter. And this painting is actually of, those Russian dolls that nest inside each other. Those dolls are like they're kind of like a representative of the phi ratio, and of how there's a fraction that fits into the next one and the next one and the next one. And there's perfect order in the universe. There's perfect order. We can see it in the way we manifest, like fruits and vegetables, and just the proportions of the human body and the face, and just how everything really in the universe is in very perfect order. And sometimes it gets a little frayed at the, when there's a lot of expansion, it can get a little out of hand and get a little messy on the outside, but it always contracts again and comes back into the center to straighten things out. And that's what the Hierophant, his job is to bring order back to the universe, and from the spiritual realm down to the physical. And the Hierophant has his right hand in the form of a blessing. So when the Hierophant comes in on bringing the spiritual judgment into the earth for justice, then it comes down to the third dimensional, and it's a blessing. In the end, it can be challenging. It could be that reality check energy, but it's in the end, the truth will set you free. So intent. People can have really good intentions and still, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So this is another karmic space, and this energy here, you hate to see that. This is someone that people really look up to, and it looks like they possibly did something and they thought, well, it's for the best to do this kind of energy. They don't know what they're doing with the money. I'm going to, do this with it instead. It'll be better for everybody. And it's not, because it's not God's plan. And it wasn't the ancestors' plan apparently either, because they are cheering because the judgment is coming in, and they want things sorted out and put in the order that they said they wanted things done in. And so this is disruption here. What's fun for some is not fun for everyone. Yeah, especially if there's a third party involvement or something in a relationship, or the other people are spending your money. That might be fun for them. That kind of energy, dissension. So with friends like this, who needs enemies? And so yeah, I hate to see this energy, but these are tactics that come in that people use on each other and we use on ourselves. I mean, but this is like when you really, I get this feeling there was a lot of people in your inner circle that maybe were involved in something, and I don't know. It'll come out. The truth is coming out. You might be really angry when you find out what's going on. So really, really remember, you don't want to be in this energy here of the Knight of Swords, being angry and then flipping out, and that I feel like you have something that you have righteous anger, But anger is the gift that keeps on giving, and so stay as calm as you can. If you find out you might be really hurt too. Like, so, sometimes when people get, feel really hurt, they act out in anger because it's easier. It's easier if you're angry than if you're in grief. And anger is a stage of grief. I feel like there's, you were swimming with sharks and you thought they were friends, and they were friends enough not to tell you what was going on, and maybe were even involved, and everybody was enjoying the energy except you. And so this is the judgment coming in again. It's saying that, again, this is God's judgment coming down. It will leave you unfettered and able to get with your soulmate and get back on your path. Get back into, you're meant to shine, and that's what you need to do. And then you're on a foolhardy journey after this. See, after this tower hits, you're going to be, you can anticipate your future because you've been innocent in this. Like, you've been, you may not even be aware of what this is. And everybody else was, and they did a good job of keeping it from you. And then this is talking about there's an energy coming in here of the Empress, and so the Empress energy is representing. It's just saying, like, if you started out as the Queen of Pentacles, everything that you've learned here is has raised your vibration to attract someone with your soulmate who's vibrating at the same level. And quite often the soulmates might be very, very different from each other, but and different from someone you would normally get together with, but you're vibrating at the same vibration, and it's a very high vibration. When you're at the Empress energy, it's talking about you've had enough life experience to really be able to do, manifest at a very high level. And that energy is really powerful. And then at the top of it, it's almost like this is a Christmas tree. And we have the star confirming you're meant to shine. So do it. And that's put those burdens down. That's going to be the first step right there, making that decision that you have to look after your own needs first, or else you're going to end up being dragged down in this energy. And this is uncomfortable. The way this energy started out was really uncomfortable for anyone to be in that energy. I do hope you've enjoyed this reading. I like this one. This one was like quite soft compared to some of them that have been coming out. The energy is challenging right now. There's no doubt about it, and so this one's a little bit on the softer side. We have the sun shining. That's always good. I do hope you've also enjoyed it. Please do give it a like and comment. Consider subscribing if you resonate. I would be honored if you did so. Bye for now, and I'll have another daily reading for you again tomorrow.